With the LSAT being offered 8 times per year, you may be wondering if there's a downside to taking the LSAT multiple times. Hey, what's up everybody? Steve Schwartz here from LSAT Unplugged, joining you today to share my thoughts on taking the LSAT multiple times. Before I get into it, a little bit about LSAT Unplugged. We offer live online classes via Zoom, on-demand video courses, small group coaching, and one-on-one coaching. Check out the links below this video to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. So probably every single day, students are asking me, is it okay to retake the LSAT? Do I have to write an addendum for this? And most importantly, is there a downside to taking the LSAT multiple times? My answer to that is an emphatic no. There is no downside to taking the LSAT multiple times. And in fact, I recommend retaking the LSAT at least once for the simple reason that through luck alone, you could do a few points better. And law schools do not average multiple LSAT scores, but rather they only take the highest score. This means that you and everyone else has incentive to take the LSAT multiple times. And if you don't, you are at a disadvantage relative to those who do retake the LSAT. Because again, there's no downside. Let's say that your score was a 160 on your practice test, that was your average, and on test day, you got a 160 as well. You might think, that's what I deserved, that's great, I'm done. I'd say, why not retake? Because through retaking, you might get a 163, a 164, a 165, even if you didn't do any additional studying. You might do 3 to 5 points better. And if you studied on top of that and took the LSAT a month or two later, you might do even better. And imagine how many more doors could open for you with a 165 than with a 160. How much more scholarship money would you get? To me, it's a no-brainer. Now, of course, law schools will still see all scores on your record for context, but so what? Schools are not evaluated based on how many times you took the LSAT. They're only evaluated on the highest score of their matriculating students because that's what goes to the ABA, and in turn, that's what goes to US News, which is factored into the ever-important rankings. So what this means for you is that you can and should retake the LSAT. LSAC has actually removed the retake limit on taking the LSAT 3 times in one testing cycle. The only remaining retake limits are now taking the LSAT 5 times in 5 years and 7 times for life, but they're not nearly as important. And even if you hit the retake limits, you can appeal them. So for example, if you had issues with the prometric administrations back in August and September, and you want to retake, but you hit the limits as a result of those tests, that would be a great reason to reach out to LSAC and say, hey, I tried to take it, it wasn't my fault, issues with prometric, can I please have an exemption to these retake limits? Then by all means, they're likely to grant you that retake limit, and you can then go ahead with your retake smoothly, no issues. But you're unlikely to run into the retake limits anyway, considering they've removed the biggest one of all, which was 3 times in one testing cycle. Now, another question I'll often get associated with the retaking question is, do I need to write an addendum if I'm retaking the LSAT? My answer is no, you don't need to write one. However, if it would make you feel more comfortable, by all means, go right ahead. So for example, if you took the 3 consecutive LSATs, for example, August, September, and October, or September, October, and November, you might worry that it looked a bit much that you were taking 3 consecutive LSATs. And in that case, of course, you could write an addendum and say to law schools, the reason I took it 3 consecutive months is because I ran into issues with taking the LSAT in August. There were issues with the prometric proctors and the technical issues as well. And so I wasn't able to go forward smoothly. And for that reason, I wasn't able to successfully complete my LSAT exam. I went ahead and retook it in September. Then there was a technical glitch, so I'm retaking it now in October. That was my 3rd and final take. The only take where I was able to smoothly take it without any tech or proctoring issues. Law schools will understand, and frankly, they don't really care because they have no incentive to care. They only have incentive to care about your highest LSAT score on record. Now, if you took it 5 consecutive months, that might look a little fishy to them, as if you were not taking the LSAT when you were fully ready to take it, but maybe you were not exercising the best judgment, you were just going for take after take after take without much forethought. In that case, of course, I would write an addendum, but assuming you're exercising good judgment in deciding when to take the LSAT, when you feel you are likely to achieve your fullest potential, then I don't see you running into any issues. And again, there's no real downside to retaking the LSAT, even if you took it 5 consecutive times, assuming that you can explain your reasoning behind taking it so many times in a row. Because again, law schools only have incentive to care about their highest score on record. Anyway, folks, that's all for now. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to see it. I don't do any advertising for this channel. I rely only on word of mouth to help get the word out, and your sharing this video really does make a difference. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.